Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. If this is your first time here, my name is Flora. I'm a food and fitness blogger and social media consultant. I am doing a lot of vlogs at the moment about running because I don't know, I've recently started getting back into it. It is a massive part of my life, and finally, fingers crossed and touch wood, my IT band is just about holding up over some longer runs that I've been doing recently, including a 15k trail run and a 27k trail run, which should only hurt towards the end, which is amazing. If you'd like to watch the vlog on that, go back a couple of vlogs and it will be there. I am really getting back into it big time, and autumn is my favorite time for running. Honestly, it's not my favorite time of year, but in terms of running, there is nothing better than getting out in the crunchy leaves and out in the trails, because the weather's cooled down, it's not crazy hot, you don't feel like you're about to spontaneously combust as you're going around a track. The air feels a lot fresher, so it's actually cooling you down. You get a bit of a breeze, which in the summer often you don't, at least in the UK it's quite stifling, especially around London where I live. Yeah, it's just, there's something magical about this time of year when everything is starting to go orange and brown and yellow, and it is really beautiful. So I really hope I can share some of my excitement about it, and that maybe you guys will go out and give it a go, even if you don't think that you are much of a runner. I recently hosted a run club, and a lot of the people there had never really run. They don't run frequently, and they'd not done, you know, much more than 5k ever, and were looking to get into running. And by the end of the run that we went on together, they were like, oh, this can actually be really fun. And I think a problem that a lot of people have when they try and get into running is that they want to set off at this goal pace and then go at it for like 5-10k, and it's like, well, next to no one can start off just doing 5 or 10k like that just because they want to. I certainly didn't, and it takes a long time to build up to that level. So getting out there and starting slow and just doing it for the enjoyment and for the fresh air is one of the best things that you can do if you're looking to start running. And also, if you are not a fan of the dark mornings, getting out as soon as it starts to get light is actually really good of waking up your body and getting it prepped for the day, because it kind of resets your circadian rhythms. It's so hard to be working all day if you get up when it's dark, get the tube to work or the train to work or drive to work, whatever it is, in the dark, and you get to work, it's still dark, and then you spend the rest of your day in fluorescent lighting or artificial lighting. You think, well, why don't I feel awake? Why have I been groggy all day? And it's because you've not had any light in the morning, and that can be a problem. So getting out and going for a bit of a run in the morning can really help that. Anyway, I digress. Today's vlog is going to be kind of a walk through my favorite training kit for winter running. This is obviously weather dependent. Obviously, sometimes it can be really cold but totally dry. Other times it can be quite warm, pouring with rain, as my run the other day was. I really don't mind the rain, and they always say there's no such thing as bad weather, only bad kit, and I kind of agree with it to an extent. When you're running, you've obviously got the problem of you might start off cold, you're then warming up a lot, and by the time you are sort of halfway around your run, you could be absolutely sweltering, and you want to have the right kit that you can have on at the beginning, strip off, put it in a bag maybe, or just something that you'll be in the right temperature in for the entire run. So I'm going to talk you through some of my favorite things now, and if you have any questions, obviously write them down below and I'll try and answer them. This is one of those vlogs that I get asked all the time over on Instagram, and it's kind of like, yeah, I've done a vlog on this, which is kind of infuriating because I do these things so that you guys can actually watch them, but at least I will be able to point people here, and I'll try and put some links below if you guys are interested in buying any of this stuff. Not all of it's current season, but I'm sure there are lots of things that are still available in the shops at the moment. So without further ado, we're gonna get started. Okay, so in terms of leggings, you want to be going for something that is fitted on your waist so that it doesn't fall down, maybe even with a drawstring. You want it to be full length, probably, because not only does it keep your legs warm, but it also protects you from any mud and that kind of thing. These are all of my leggings. I have enough, probably. They have different purposes, but let me show you some of my faves. My ultimate favorite running legging for long distances, but also pretty much anything, is from 2XU. They are fitted perfectly. They're supposed to be compression leggings. These are light compression, which is supposed to increase recovery time. Basically, I just wear them because they fit so perfectly. They're not too thick. They're actually quite a thin pair for winter running, but they keep me warm. They just work really, really well. This is what I did most of my marathon training in. When it comes to slightly thicker pairs of leggings, I have this pair from New Balance. Got these last year, I think. Of course, New Balance is big into their running. They're one of the sponsors of London Marathon. I like these ones because they got the pockets at the side and little bits of mesh as well, which keep your legs cool because they are a slightly thicker material. If you try them on in the shop, then you should know whether they work well with you. These ones are a little bit smaller than these ones. These are much more stretchy. I think because these are a thicker material, they don't actually stretch as much. Third pair, this is a kind of rogue addition to this. These are from Pocket Sport, and I absolutely love them because they've got this kind of tubing on the inside, which is rubber, and it keeps them up. They're mid to high waist, I'd say, but they also have that, which stops them from falling down when I'm running, which is obviously, I mean, if your crotch is falling down midway through a run, then you're in trouble. It's a bit of a nightmare. So yeah, I mean, try brands that are known for being good for running leggings. 2XU is a classic. If you go to any races, you'll see loads of people wearing their stuff, especially as a lot of guys wearing their base layer things. They're really, really nice. And then Asics, New Balance, various other running ones. And then these, I got gifted them a while back. I just found that they were perfect for running. You don't want anything really, really thick because you will be running and your legs will get sweaty. But yeah, have a variety of ones that you know work for you and then just wear them all the time. On to sports bras. So I have a low impact section here and a high impact section here. For running, obviously we choose from the high impact lot. There are a few ones that are my favorites, including this, which I'll show you in a second. This and that and that and this. As you guys probably know, high impact sports bras are super important for us ladies because once you stretch your Cooper's ligaments, which are at the top of your boobs, they are stretched forever and then you get dangly boobs. So these are my favorite sports bras for running. Asics are really good. I think they're better for sports bras than they are for leggings, to be honest. They give you lots of free range of motion. These two here are both Asics. They are really, really high support. So if you're doing anything really high impact, then they are absolutely perfect. I wore this one for the marathon, and then this is one of their other ones. I think this is more medium to high support, but it works really well for me anyway. This is one of my old favorites. This is from Lululemon. It's a kind of a double sports bra, which also means that it's very high support. I love it. I don't really know what else to say about it. It works really well. I've been wearing it for about 3 years now and it functions fine. This is probably one of my less running ones. I wear it for boxing quite a lot. I do still wear it for long distance runs because it's so comfortable, and because of the back being quite minimalist, it means that when I swing my arms I get plenty of range of motion, whereas some high impact sports bras can be quite restrictive, especially if you've got lats. Then your lats can actually rub, and that's what I found with some Sweaty Betty bras. Various other really high impact ones just don't work out for anyone with lats, I think. This last sports bra is from Peak and Flow, which is a sustainable fitness brand. This is reversible, which means you can wear it with multiple outfits, so it doesn't all have to be bright blue. They have really, really nice stuff. Their leggings don't work perfectly for running for me, but I think this is a super comfy bra, and because it's so high-necked, it keeps everything under control, which is exactly what we need. So yeah, that's my collection of favorite running sports bras. Next up, we have running socks, which you may think is a stupid thing to think about, but if you've ever had blisters after running, you will know that these are vital, especially if you're just starting out. Getting the right socks can mean the difference between making it around a course and not making it around a course because your blisters are so bad. So finding the right socks for me was super important. When I am doing road running, I will tend to wear stance socks or just any other kind of fitness socks like Asics or whatever. They have a little tab at the back to stop you getting blisters. They're not like trainer socks that don't have that. They actually kind of come up slightly above where the trainer sits. These are Stance. I absolutely love them. They are perfect for running. They have an entire running section. They are kind of expensive, but they're worth it, and I have worn these to death. So yeah, you will be able to wear them for a really long time. These are also Stance. They say faster, further on them, which is not something I always live up to, but I try, and sometimes I do, so I guess that's something. When I'm running on trails, I tend to wear longer socks. They just protect the inside of my ankles, both from getting muddy, but also from getting sore if I'm running over long distances. socks and accidentally kicking myself, which does quite often happen if it is uneven terrain. And then I've got another pair, similar socks. These are much softer, obviously the worst colour for trails in the entire world. As you can see, they're already discoloured. I've not had these ones for too long, but I'm already absolutely loving them. I've got 3 pairs and I wear them all the time. These are from Falke, F-A-L-K-E that is, and they are wonderful. They're made, Falke is like a socks brand, so they know what they're doing when it comes to socks, and they're absolutely lovely. I think, not sure if any of these are double layered, so people have heard that double layers reduce, you know, likelihood of getting blisters and stuff, but that's not necessarily what I found. I just found that these brands and these socks are absolutely perfect. Figuring out your outerwear is like the holy grail of getting ready for running. Checking the weather and seeing that there might be a chance of drizzle or a 50% chance of rain within the next 2 hours, and you're like, do I take something out? Well, there are lots and lots of running jackets that weigh next to nothing, and so worth taking out on a run if there's any chance of rain at all, and they'll keep you protected from anything from the lightest of drizzles, anything up to sort of absolutely torrential rain. So I'm going to show you a couple of my favourites in a second, but first of all, you need a mid-layer, a sort of something that's going to keep you warm but won't necessarily keep you dry, and that is kind of something to go in between your sports bra and your rain jacket. Because if you just wear a rain jacket on bare skin, you will just sweat. It's like wearing a bin bag. It is disgusting. So yeah, that's the importance of the base layer. So I'm going to show you a couple of my favorites now. Alrighty, so you guys will have seen this, I don't know, every other week maybe. I wear this all the time. This is my favorite cold weather base layer. It is from Columbia. Here you go. I chat about them all the time because I do honestly think that they're one of the best brands for trail running and actually just general outdoor gear. This is comfortable. You forget that you're wearing it. It is sweat absorbing. It doesn't smell. It's just an all-round winner. I'm not sure how expensive it is. They're not cheap in general, but I wear this. I've worn this for 2 seasons now, the whole way through last winter, and continuing this autumn, and I'm obsessed. I have always been obsessed with it and I will always be obsessed with it. So if you buy one thing, make it this. But honorable mentions to X Bionic, which is short sleeve, so it's obviously better if it's a little bit warmer. This is like a base layer. It's supposed to increase circulation. Again, I think it's slightly compression. I see a lot of people wearing these on trails, and I wore it first last year, and I think it's very good if it's slightly warmer weather, but you still want something keeping you warm when it's cold, but also cooling you down when it's hot, and that's what this is for. Second special mention to Mr. Jack Wolfskin here, who I got sent this the other day, and I'm especially interested in it because it's got the blue sign label, which means that it is basically responsibly sourced. It is better for the environment, and Jack Wolfskin are quite good for this, and I'm testing out their gear a little bit more now because I would obviously like to be working more with brands that are better for the environment in general, and they are one of those. This is obviously for slightly cooler weather. It's slightly thicker than the other two. You could put it over one of the other two if it was especially cold, but in general at this time of year in autumn I'd probably just wear this over my sports bra. And I love the half zip. The half zip is absolutely perfect for when it gets hot. I mean, you can just cool down a little bit. If you cool down your chest, and the rest of you tends to cool down pretty quickly. So yeah. Okay, so this is a little bit creepy. They're starting to look a bit like dead bodies or people marching off in this direction, but these are my favorite running jackets. So starting from the lightest to the, well, not the heaviest, but the most rainproof. This is from Columbia. This is what I wore during the torrential downpour the other day, and it kept me mostly dry. I was wearing a layer underneath it, obviously that other Columbia one, and it kept me dry for the majority of the run, even though the downpour was unbelievable. It doesn't have a hood, so there's a downside there, but it is the lightest thing ever. Does that show how light it is? I don't know. It says packable, and that is because it is. It fits into your hand if you want it to. It is the smallest thing ever, so if you are going to be taking a rain jacket for light drizzle, that's what you want to take. Next on the list is Asics. This is what I wore for the Tokyo Marathon, which did rain for the entire 4.5 hours. It says Tokyo 2020 because it is something to do with the Paralympic Games, but it was perfect for the marathon in the conditions that we were given. It is slightly more waterproof than the other one, and it's also got a hood that does look a little bit like a condom when you put it on, but it protects your face, or your head at least, so some benefits there. Yeah, so I really, really like this one. It is somewhat less packable than the last one, but still fits very neatly into your hand or a bag if you've got one. There you go. Proof. Next up, bit more waterproof and definitely a bit thicker, and not something that I'd wear unless it was very cold, but Rhian wore this the other day. Yes, he does just about fit into it. Found it perfect for our run in the pouring rain. This is also from Asics. It is more waterproof. It's more robust basically than the other two. It's got zip pockets, it's got a hood. The hood doesn't tighten, which is the only downside, so you'd probably want to be wearing a headband or a hat underneath if it is properly raining. But yeah, I quite like that one. I wear it for walks if it's not too cold, but it is kind of drizzling. Last but not least, this one I'm reluctant to put in the running category because it's so waterproof that if you sweat on the inside, it also keeps that all in. It's also Columbia, and I wore this during my 3 Peaks challenge, 40 kilometers of walking in the rain. It is the most waterproof you're going to get without putting on a dry suit, I think. It's out dry material, it's super waterproof, and has a little peak at the hood which will keep you totally dry in pretty much all weathers. So yeah, and you can tighten it at the back as well, so you can properly get your head in there and stay out of the rain. I love this one, but I wouldn't recommend it necessarily for running unless you want to be a pile of sweat at the end. But yeah, very good for walking and maybe a light jog or just being outside in general. On to accessories. So a lot of people ask me about running rucksack because having a good running rucksack, well, there's a difference between being able to run with a rucksack and getting blisters on your shoulders. So I have 3. Rhian's actually stolen my Columbia one, which is a 12-litre rucksack that I wear in all of my trail runs that are above a certain distance. But this is perfect for just training runs. It is a 5-litre rucksack, sits tight to your back and just does up with these elastic straps. And one problem that I have with a lot of running rucksacks is that they're just too big, as in they don't do up tight enough here in order to not bounce around on your back when you're wearing them. This is one of my favourite ones for actually just fitting perfectly to you. But its downside is that you can't carry as much in it as with some of the other ones, because if you overload it, then it just sticks out and you can feel it digging into your back. So just for rain jacket, maybe a wallet, a bit of money, and your keys, that kind of thing. And gels. It doesn't fit my phone into the front, which is very frustrating, but it does have good gel pockets in there. Okay, Jack Wolfskin here. This is another cheat because I've actually not worn this one yet, but I got this one because it's got a camelback, which means that when you're on the go on a longer run, you can fill this up on the inside, and rather than having to carry 2 water bottles or 1 water bottle that sticks into your back, this just sits flat on your back and you can fill it up with water and just drink it out of this tube. That's kind of ideal if you're doing longer runs because it means that you don't have to stop, get your water out, keep going, you know, put it back in, keep going, blah, 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 blah. So this is a 6-litre one, Cross Trail 6, there you go. But they do 12-litre one as well. They work really well for trail running, but also hiking and all that kind of stuff. So you've got, in here, you've got the camelback, and you've got space for a bunch of other stuff as well. And then obviously I've got my Columbia one, which is 8 litres. Something like that, just slightly more than both of these, but again doesn't have a camelback, so pros and cons. Down here we have gloves and a headband. If it is especially cold, you will want both of these. Keeping your ears warm keeps the rest of you warm. Obviously not entirely true if you're naked, but yeah, it tends to help out quite a lot. I have a lot of these things. Some of them are lighter, some of them are more thermal. This is somewhere in between. It's got a soft inside, but it's not too thick. Gloves, really important. My hands get really cold. I don't have any circulation in them, so it's always nice to have a pair of gloves that works. These are also, you can use with your phone. They have touchscreen compatibility, which if you're recording on Strava is important. I never used to run in a hat, but I recently started doing it when it rains because it does actually protect your face, and I had no idea. When it's raining, I'll have this on and I might have my hood up on one of the jackets I just showed you. This is the only one that I found that I can run in that doesn't fall off or overheat my head. So yeah, don't just buy a normal sort of snapback Is that a thing? Don't buy a fashion hat basically and try and run in it because it just won't work, but this one works really well. All right, so those are all the accessories that are vital for winter running. Last but definitely not least, I'm going to show you my trail running shoes and also the shoes that I use to train on roads and all that kind of stuff, because I know not all of you are trail runners. This is a question I get asked a lot, but I think it's sort of, if I give you an answer, it's not necessarily what will also work best for you, because obviously everyone runs totally differently. During the discussion that we had with my physio at my run club last week, some people overpronate, some people underpronate, and the shoes that you wear should not necessarily correct for that, but should certainly not work against that. If you're rolling in, you want something that has a little bit more support on the inside, but if you have a little bit more support on the inside and you're rolling out, then it's just going to make your problem worse. So that in mind, I will show you my favorite shoes, but they might not be the best for you. But do go and have a look at the brands at least, and if you can, get in for a gait analysis and they can have a look at the way that you run and give you a shoe that is most likely to work for you. And here's something that you should bear in mind: it should not feel uncomfortable in the shop. If you feel like you have to break in your trainers, you've probably bought the wrong trainers. Most shoes nowadays can be raced straight out of the box, so if you're walking around the shop or jogging on the spot and it is giving you, you know, rubbing on the inside of your arch or on your toes or on your heel, don't buy them. Just don't buy them, because there are better ones out there. Don't rush your purchase just because you want a new pair of shoes. So first off, for road running, we have here the Hoka Clifton 6, which I started running in a couple of months ago. I don't get on with all of the Hoka shoes. I do really like the brand because they're super supportive but also really light, but this is the pair that I get on with the most. Everyone loves them. Everyone who tries them loves them, I'm pretty sure. And they are slightly waterproof at the front. You can see this bit here. They're a little bit more waterproof than some of my other shoes, and they're also incredibly light. If it's raining, your feet will get wet. That's just how it works. Moving on, we've got the Asics Nimbus 21s, gel Nimbus 21s. I got these for training for the marathon, but really I did all my training and the marathon itself in these, or my red version of these, because I was more used to the older version. This is the Asics Gel Nimbus 20. I'm not sure they sell them anymore because obviously they've got this fancier new version. As you can tell, I've run in these a lot. They are much, much heavier than these ones over here, but I also feel like they have a little bit more support, and I quite like training in quite heavy shoes. I feel more hugged by them, and also means that when you race in light shoes, it feels like you're on clouds. So yeah, if you're doing road running, those are my favorites. If you don't like heavy shoes, you won't like the Asics, but do give Hoka a try. Last but not least, definitely for trail running, are these Columbia Montrails. I have been running in these since I started trail running. There is nothing better on earth than these shoes. If you're trying to run trails in these, you'll be slippy slidey all over the place, and it just doesn't work when you're trying to trail run because you can't trust your own feet. If you're sliding everywhere, then you have to take shorter strides, you have to change the way that you run, and you're much more likely to get injured. Whereas when you're wearing trail shoes, you can actually trust when you put your foot down that it's not going to slide all over the place because it's got these grippy bits at the bottom. I first tried these on the day before a race that I did up in Scotland. That was 24k. Yeah, so I raced them then the next day and they were perfect and they did not rub at all. So that's what I mean by they should be able to be raced right out of the box. These ones and another pair that I've got that are exactly the same are ideal for that. And of course, they have this waterproofing around the front. If you go into Columbia and ask for waterproof trail shoes, they'll probably send you this way for the Montrails. These are the Cal Dorado 3, but their entire Montrail section has quite a lot of different shoes in it. Yeah, so excuse the amount of mud that they have on. Obviously, they have been used. So I hope that helps you and hopefully gives you a bit of inspiration to actually get out there and onto the trails this autumn and winter. Kit is so important, and one of the benefits of running, of course, is that you can just buy a pair of shoes, put on a sports bra, put on any pair of trousers or whatever and just go running. Like, the whole point is that it's easily accessible for everyone. But of course, having the right kit can just make it that little bit more comfortable. It doesn't mean that it has to be super expensive, but the great thing about outdoor kit is that it is durable. It's not a fashion item. Honestly, I look crazy in some of the things that I wear, but they are durable, and I've been wearing them for, I mean, all of my favorite ones for as long as I've had them, and I wear them to death as well. I will wear them until they rip, and none of them have ripped so far, so it shows that they all do work really well. So if you are going to purchase something that costs a little bit more, A, it'll probably have a good warranty, and B, it should last you for a really, really long time, so it is definitely worth it. If you did enjoy this, give it a thumbs thumbs up. I do really appreciate all the support that you guys give me, and let me know if you guys have any races coming up or any plans for the future. I'm looking for some races myself, so if you have anything that you think I should come and join, let me know in the comments down below, and hit the subscribe button, and I will see you next time. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.